Let's face it, politics is an absolute joke. I'm Matt Richardson, and I've always suspected that literally anyone could do a better job of running the country than the clowns in Westminster. So I decided to put it to the test. Each week I sit down with a special guest who's suddenly and unexpectedly been elected Prime Minister and advise them on 3 policies they think will transform the country. Welcome to I Am Prime Minister. As usual, it is my very great honour to introduce our next Prime Minister. As a comedian, he's appeared on Netflix The Circle, Comedy Central's Roast Battle, as well as hosting the podcast Bad Manners and Very British Problems. In 2025, he'll be touring his new show Deep, although it remains to be seen how he'll balance that alongside running the country. Tom Houghton, congratulations on your recent victory.
Thank you, Matt. It's very nice to be on. I accept it willingly and a little bit scared, I reckon.
Now, I'm going to say this. You are weirdly my second guest with a lord in the family.
Yes.
My friend Will Best, the TV presenter, he came and did it, and his dad is also
very nice.
a lord.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he's our second honourable. But I would say you're probably the kind of person, if you turned to politics, if one day I turned on the telly and you were doing an interview on BBC Parliament, it wouldn't surprise me. I think you would suit this perfectly.
Well, I don't know. I've got to be honest. So my dad's the sort of the Lord. He's just been made a field marshal. He's got the sort of the leadership presidential skills. I do take after my mother. I want to make that very clear. Who is a sort of slightly mad woman.
Well, you are now Prime Minister. It's happened very suddenly, but very, very good work for you.
Thank you.
We want to go through some policies and see how we're going to sell them to the country, what you're going to do to make things better. Can we have your first policy, please, Prime Minister?
Yeah, so my first policy, I want to have an absolute ban on baby voices. Baby talk, for specifically for adults doing it to other adults.
Okay, so no sort of children doing it or doing it to children is fine?
Well, I think I don't want to sort of have a sort of mass cull of children doing baby voices. I feel like a baby doing a baby voice is sort of like that's just a voice, isn't it?
Yeah, that's fine. that's allowed.
Yeah, I don't want like a bunch of really serious babies going, "Hello, would you mind feeding me at the appropriate time, please, mother?"
It is a bit weird when people talk to their children in a normal voice when they're really little, isn't it?
Yeah, totally. I think it is. But then I've never liked people, and this is coming from boarding school and posh backgrounds. I've never liked anyone who calls their parents mummy and daddy. I hate that.
Ugh,
It's gross. It's mum.
Yeah.
I don't like mother and father either. I think that's too formal.
Yeah.
It's mum and dad. They are just mum and dad.
Yeah, because I think there are a few prime ministers we've had over the years who definitely are mummy and daddy types,
Yeah.
and it does feel odd.
Yeah, Boris would be a mummy, surely. Mummy and father.
Oh,
daddy would it.
100%. Yeah, definitely. So is this when couples do it to each other in public? Do you know? Is this an issue for you? Have you ever done it in a relationship and not enjoyed it because they've enjoyed it?
I used to not be able to do it. I think this is where it stems from. So I did have a girlfriend. I remember I tried to do the baby voice once, and she was like asleep in bed. I remember I'd come back late at night, and she was asleep in bed, and I tiptoed up to the bed and nestled into her, and I put my arm around her and spooned her, and then whispered in her ear, "Are you asleep?" And I just completely like this weird Mexican gremlin voice, like The Exorcist. I was like, I can't do that anymore. I can't do baby voices at all. I hate when couples do it, in the cinema in front of you. "Oh, let's just tickle wickle my belly welly," and it's just like, right.
Yeah.
I think there should be sort of like Squid Games. I think there should be snipers who just take out as soon as they hear, "Ooh, ooh."
As Prime Minister, as your chief advisor, I guess this is a bit like advising on drug policy if you're Michael Gove. I have been guilty of this in the past.
Oh, I imagine.
I've done it.
Yeah, you and Sam probably do it quite a lot, don't you?
You know what we're bad to? It's the cat. So basically, we talk to the cat in a little voice, and then we talk to each other as if we are the cat, and the cat's kind of, "Hello, yes, oh yes, mummy, that would be very nice. Oh, do I get to have some wet food now?" So that's where ours comes in. Is it sort of is all put through the cat, and you can see him looking at us going, "I don't fucking sound like that."
Yeah.
So the character that we've put on the cat, he's not quite right. It's like he's been dropped on the head or something. Like, so he's like, you go, oh yes, that would be very good. Like, he's got this little voice, and oh yes, mummy, actually, that I'm a bit stupid, but that would be very funny. Like and that's where we put our baby voice through. But the thing is, I've been on the phone before to Sam, sort of, kind of oblivious, thinking you're not around anybody, and then you can see someone looking at you doing it, and you think, oh my God, I've lost all respect.
Yeah, well, like on a busy train or something. It's going, we'll get the back and we'll put the biscuits.
Or like what I thought was an empty platform, and then you look and there's someone looking at you, and I think like, of course, you now think I'm an idiot. Well, it is cringy.
I would be looking at you.
There's a lot of stuff in relationships that is very cringy like this that people do, isn't there? Like, this is just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, I think a lot of being in a relationship is reverting back to being children, isn't it? Together.
It's just messing around.
It's just messing around, yeah, exactly. And
doing weird things.
But I also I remember I was at a dinner party once, and a grown man, he must have been 55, 60 years old, got up and went, "Excuse me, I'm just going to go for a piddly pee." And
no.
Yeah, I wanted to stab him in the eye over the table.
There's a very fine line, isn't there, between sort of being polite and not saying I'm going for a slash, and then a piddly pee.
Yeah, exactly. Well, there's a theory behind it. So there's 3 different ways of like swearing or like talking. So there's like I think it's scientific, it's playground, and it's gutter. So if you would say so if you were going for a pee, so piddly pee would be playground. Yeah. A slash would be guttural, and I'm going to urinate would be the scientific.
Fine. And it's sort of finding the balance between them. And is this the kind of thing that you dislike because it makes you feel a certain way, or is it just you think it's people needing to grow up?
I don't know how deep into my psyche you want to go.
Always
on this
deep,
podcast.
Tom, you know that.
I think this goes back to me being dropped off at boarding school at 6 years old and my separation trauma and having to... Yeah, well, you asked for it, mate.
Oh, God. Every interview. Well, this goes back to boarding school.
I think it would be nice to have a Prime Minister who suddenly just admitted, actually, I think public boarding school messed me up and I'm an absolute insane person because of it. That'd be an honest Prime Minister.
Well, I think also, I guess you're forced to grow up quite quickly, in boarding school, and you talk, it's quite formal environment.
Oh, completely. So do you want to hear about my first day of boarding school?
Yes, I would love to.
So I'd been to an open day, and so that's where you just go for the day and you just experience it, and your mum comes and collects you at the end. So obviously at boarding schools, you have some day kids as well. So when I started fully boarding, and I was meant to be there for a couple of months, which at 6 years old is most of your life. Yeah. At the end of the day, I hadn't really realised what boarding was. So when the end of the day came, the boarders went off to the boarding house, and I went with all the day kids to the front gate. Oh, no. And then just gradually, one after the other, they got taken away. Until 3 hours later, a teacher came and found me sat in the rain. And,
Tom, you've broken my heart.
And that night, you then go to like the all boys dormitory. And if you cry, you get beaten up because people don't want you to cry. So I think that's where just the no baby voices, stoicism, stiff upper lip. So that's probably what
Tom.
Have I made this too sad? It was meant to be.
No, not at all. I think this is a real, it's real honesty, like you said, from a Prime Minister, that boarding school might not be healthy. I get
the feeling in mind. Yeah, I think separate a kid from sick.
So this is a slight tangent here, but I think it's quite an interesting subject. Did you feel that way the entirety of boarding school, or did you get into the groove of it?
It changed. So the next term that I got left at the boarding school, I wouldn't let go of my mum's leg. I was kicking and screaming. Matron had to pull me off. My mum, and then I think you do just get numb to it. You get used to it.
Yeah, because I went out with a girl who went to boarding school. She went to the same boarding school as you. You actually went to school together. And,
yes. Oh, yes. Our mutual friend.
Her relationship with her parents was fascinating because obviously at 6 you kind of sent off, and then she said that once she became a teenager, at boarding school you've got friends who've got houses in France, they've got ski chalets and all this, so you end up then just on the holidays not being at home because there's all these amazing things to go and do.
Yeah.
So we we went to stay with her parents, who ran a really nice B&B in Northumberland. And in the morning, she was like, "Oh, we'll go down for breakfast." And her parents served us breakfast like we were guests. It was this sort of very bizarre kind of like detachment that they were all sort of, it's not a criticism, it's just a different way, I guess, of going, they were strangers to each other, and it became a really interesting dynamic. Whereas what I like about you and a lot of your content is you and your parents are really close.
Yeah.
And it doesn't seem to have affected that as much as it's affected your ability to hear someone call you cute in a little voice.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think that's weird. I think that's weird. Yeah, I mean, me and my parents have been on a journey together, I think, as far as that. But I do think that's weird, isn't it? So I think boarding school kids do have this sort of this adultness about them, but they do also have the mummy and daddy thing. So it's a really weird combo.
Yeah, it's a really fascinating combo. And just so we've got an even playing field here, we'll ban the baby talk so boarding school boys don't feel bad.
Thank you. Or I insist that everyone in the country calls me daddy. maybe that's the other way to go about this.
Can we have your next policy, please?
My next policy is I think we need to modernise the royal family.
Now, this is quite a broad thing to say. Let's dig into what you mean by modernising.
I remember the King's coronation happened a few years ago, and it was all very, very like people with very sort of with titles you sort of recognised from places you kind of recognised, transporting different household items around, like with adjectives you didn't really know. The sceptre of duplicitous, the spoon of contemporary managerialation.
Yeah,
and I thought it just seemed mental to me, and I think we needed to have I think we just need to zhuzh it up. I think they tried to do it. I think Meghan would have been a good way to zhuzh it up a bit as well.
The younger ones are much more normal and relatable as people, aren't they? Although there is all that pomp and circumstance, the fact they're a little bit more flawed and a little bit more human. However, I would push back. I'm not a royalist, or not really, but I do quite like the madness of it all and sort of the weirdness. I think that's quite good fun.
Yeah, that is true. Okay, fair enough. What I say is that because I actually do love the royal family.
Are you a royalist, would you say?
Well, I think my family's just been very connected with them. I mean, like, obviously living in the Tower of London, the Queen's the best landlady. The Queen's the best landlady I've ever had. So,
paying her with pictures of her own face.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that, and I worry about them because I think the youth are not connecting with the royal family. So I think they need to modernise in order to stay relevant. My big take here is I think the best thing that could happen to the royal family is if Prince George, our future king, turns out to be gay, and then we get an openly gay king.
That would be really good, because I think that there must be, statistically, over the years, there have been. I'm just listening to a really good book about the royals called Unruly by David Mitchell.
Yeah, it's the one everyone's reading. It's good, isn't it?
It's really fun. I'm listening to it rather than reading it. I will be honest about that. But there must have statistically been a gay royal, a gay king. And you just think, well, yeah, but I guess now that would be... People surely wouldn't really bat an eyelid anymore. Because especially when George becomes king, we will be old, right? And our generation wouldn't really care.
No, and the young generations really wouldn't care. In fact, they want it.
So I think King Charles is hyper aware of this, right? I think he does want to streamline the royal family. I think he wants it to be more modern, because I think a lot of people loved the Queen, and I think he was probably worried that it couldn't carry on as it was. He's reducing the admin staff by 20%, and he wants a smaller group of core royals, but he hasn't given anyone the boot yet. Obviously, Prince Harry and Meghan went, and Andrew, I think, isn't doing much.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I think Andrew can probably fall by the wayside.
I think you're right. Look, I think they need to be slightly more approachable. I think, in the sense of like some of the smaller European countries and the way they are with their royals. So the Dutch royals and the Norwegian royals, they're much more accessible and normal. So I believe in not in Denmark, but in the Netherlands, one of their royals is a pilot for KLM.
Oh, really?
King Wilhelm Alexander was a big flying guy, and he ended up working for KLM, which for their City Hopper part of the business. So he kept going back and forth. He was doing all of the stuff on airplanes. He was flying, so you'd be on a plane and the king would be flying you.
That's amazing. I think maybe sort of, you know how like you have sort of some countries have obligatory army service. I think our royal family should have obligatory like sort of supermarket checkout service.
Yes, I think that would be a good idea.
That'd be a good idea. So just King Charles has to do an Asda stint.
Yeah, rather they'd have to go and live a normal life for like their 20s.
Yeah, well, maybe you want to go the whole decade. I was just going to go a year, but you want to have a whole.
Yeah,
I was like, so essentially like a gap year.
Yeah, a gap, but reversed.
Just being working class.
You have to go and live in like you have to go and live in Stafford.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
rent a 2-bed semi and work a normal job for a year. I think that would make them better at their jobs.
Yeah. Where's Princess Anne? Well, she's actually the barmaid at Riley's pool hall.
That girl in Wetherspoons keeps saying she's the Princess Anne. But it's because I think you see people like Charles. You know when he was when he obviously became king and he had to sign loads of stuff. Have you seen the video of him having a little stroppy fit because his pen didn't work?
Yeah, I mean, I remember like because his mum had recently died. let's not forget that.
I guess his mum had died, but he was looking forward to it. He's wanted the top job for ages, hasn't he?
I guess so. That is the rumour.
Yeah, maybe a good way of modernising, less marriage to cousins. That might help.
Who'd be the best person for them to marry?
Maybe we just have a Love Island sort of, love castle where they go and pick like the Bachelor, but that's how they pick their future queen.
Yeah,
people
would
eat that up.
And so instead of going to Casa del Mar, they go to Balmoral.
Okay, Prime Minister, we're going to go on to your next policy, please.
So my next policy is I think there should be a sort of 1 year on for every single religion. So for 1 year, we just all decide to be that religion. And then the next year we do another religion. And this is all religions, not just, so obviously the big hit is Christianity, Judaism, Islam. But also, you want... the Norse gods, you want to have all the old stuff. And
what you mean, sort of like Greek gods and Roman gods? We're going to go for all that. Egyptians.
Egyptians, all of them.
Oh,
and
interesting.
I think we just have a sort of rolling. Let's leave that for the year. Here's the catch, though. I think we should still keep all of the holidays that we celebrate and just celebrate those holidays in the style of the religion we're currently in.
And I guess it just means we get more holidays.
Yeah, we get loads of holidays.
Look, I think this is really interesting because I do look at a lot of religion. I went to a Church of England school and I got christened out of peer pressure because my little brother, so I wasn't christened and I got picked on for it at school when we learnt about it all. So in the end I was like, I want to be christened, please, just so I could fit in.
Really?
And I think that sums up all religion, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does a bit.
That's basically how it works.
I was in the choir at school.
Yeah.
With my severe acne and braces. So I sounded like an angel, but looked like a pizza. It was pretty desperate times. And the Reverend Griffin got me confirmed. The amount of Coca-Cola and sweets that man gave me just to get me over the line for absolutely.
That doesn't help the skin out, does it?
No, not so. Yeah, exactly. He was keeping me spotty the whole time.
Yeah, he was.
So I sort of quite liked going in the choir. I like singing the songs. I had to go to church, but singing songs was a good way. And getting confirmed meant you also got bread and wine halfway through, which is a nice little snack.
Yeah, lovely. And I do think as well, and I'm just not going to upset anyone listening to this podcast, but Christianity is the boring one. And I do think this about parts of Judaism and Islam. It's very serious, those three. The big three are very serious. Give me a bit of Hinduism or Buddhism, like it's all a bit more light-hearted. There's blue monkeys.
Yeah, exactly. There's a bigger fat
elephant-headed gods. Yeah, that is way more interesting.
But also, Matt, you've got to remember, and this is probably, I think, the long game that I'm actually playing, is that Jedi is also technically a religion. So if we play this right, we will at one point get Jedi Christmas. And I think that's exciting. That will be worth everything.
That will be. Also, interestingly, shamanism has had a massive increase in the country. So in the
Has it?
2021 census, 8,000 people in the UK claimed they were shamans, up from 650 in 2011.
Interesting.
And I also think what's interesting about that is, you would go through paganism, you'd do some of the really old stuff that was
Oh my
a
God,
bit
yeah.
bloody and scary and
Yeah.
very exciting.
Did you ever know anyone, or did you ever go through a Wiccan phase?
No, did
So
you?
Wiccan, yeah. Well, my sister did. My sister got properly. My sister used to like sleep in the chest of drawers like a vampire, and
No, she didn't.
I did. Oh mate, I remember one time my sister she went full witch. She in our cellar we lived on a barracks in Germany. In my dad's wine cellar, my sister had drawn a Hebrew chalk summoning circle. And yeah, and I remember coming downstairs at one point and hearing my mum shouting at my sister in all honesty, "No, Sophie, no raising demons in the house. if you want to raise demons, you go in the garden."
If you're talking about being a Jedi, it has just decreased hugely. In the 2001 census, I believe it was a big campaign in one of the newspapers. 390,000 people said they were Jedis, just 1,600 in 2021.
See, this is the Disney effect. This is what's happened here. It's gone. It's putting all the Jedis off.
And I really like this. I think this is a really interesting idea. I don't know much about religions. Like I said, I was very much a Christian because it was a good school in the catchment area.
Yeah. What about spirituality, though?
No, I'm not spiritual at all. In any way, I am very like, this is it. We all die, and then we don't even know we're dead, and I think that's perfectly fine for me.
So I, like I said, the Reverend Griffin at 65 years old didn't really sold me on Christianity. But when I went recently to Bali, where of course I got some ankle bracelets and painted my toenails, and I had a spiritual. I really took to spirituality over there, and I don't know why. I took it to spirituality more than religion, but I had a lovely spiritual guide who was Heidi. She was Swedish. She was 27 years old. And
okay, I'm starting to realise why you're into this now.
And I just there was something about the way she taught spirituality that was more appealing than the Reverend Griffin. She was kind. She was sweet. She was much nicer to go down on. And I think spirituality is just a get-out clause for everything.
Yeah,
it's a narcissist wet dream. It's like, so do I have to go to church on Sunday? No. The church is within you, so you can just walk around and it's fine.
I do find people, my whole thing with spirituality and sort of, manifesting and all this, I only find people with very privileged lives, like if they're beautiful or they have an interesting job, that it's very easy to be like, oh, well, I'm quite spiritual and I manifest and all that. And you go, what about people who've got awful lives?
Yeah, exactly.
You just need to manifest. I'm like, think about it.
Just have a vision board and then you'll get out of homelessness.
I felt like I wanted my own jewellery business and I manifested it. Well, your dad's a venture capitalist.
Yes,
so
exactly.
That's what actually happened, isn't it?
Yeah.
He gave you £3 million to set up your business.
Exactly.
It's not manifesting, is it? It's offshore banking.
No, it's and also like, what about all my horrendous character flaws? Is that my fault? No, that's your star sign. That's not you. You're the way you are because your star sign. For example, look at me. My parents fucked in March, and that's why I'm a cunt. Right, really.
Is that so? Are we going to we'll have a year where we do astrology? I guess then.
Fun. I think astrology would be fun.
And that'd be great, watching all the big court cases in the land going, I am convicting you to 28 years for being a Gemini.
A Gemini, yeah.
The vibes are off.
That'd be a lovely part of the court. The vibes are just not feeling it.
Are there any religions that you look at and you think, if you were a religious person, you would be into? Are there any of them you think, yeah, that would be a bit of me?
I think I'd probably go full cult.
Really?
Yeah, I think I'd drink the Kool-Aid. I'd love to go full. Oh no, I think more sort of hippies having orgies in the forest.
Yeah, once again, if Heidi's there, I can see why.
Yeah, right. Midsummer, you know that Midsummer.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
That'd be good.
Just going back to your spirituality in Bali. So, what happened there to make talk me through your spiritual journey? I'm fascinated by this.
Well, I think Bali is an interesting one because you always go there. I went out there because and this is what my new tour's about, going deep.
Yeah, very nice.
I didn't want to be too. So I was scuba diving whilst also asking myself the deep questions about the world.
Yeah.
Trying to find myself because that's what white privileged people do.
Absolutely.
When we try and find ourselves, we're not sure where we are, but we're pretty certain we're in Asia. So we go to Asia to find ourselves. Bali, yeah, it's full of people getting pissed. I think finding yourself is
Yeah.
playing beer pong and paddle.
Well, the thing is, it's hard to find yourself when it's just full of Australians.
It's a lot
and
of
that's
bogans.
very much yeah.
Mm,
And
it
I think
is.
it's like my mum used to work for this woman. She used to run an estate for this woman in Oxfordshire. And she had 2 young kids, and she went, right, she was from quite a normal family, but she had married really well and then divorced well. And she went, they need to see the real world, so I'm taking them to India for 6 months, and where they can see real life and real poverty. But my mum, they lived in the presidential suite of the Four Seasons, and you're like,
Right,
I
yeah,
mean,
okay.
that's just sort of really kind of reinforcing the fact they are better.
Yeah, exactly. And also,
Doesn't
what sort of-
really work.
What a weird sort of poverty safari to go on. That's just like,
Yeah,
it's
it's very
gross,
weird.
isn't it? Have you heard the
You're going to go and shit yourself for a week because that's what people do in real life all the time.
And now it's Cape First Class back home.
It was a private jet that she had to book for them.
Yeah, amazing. Did you see that there was a fad that went around, which was very posh people doing beg packing?
No, what's
So
bed packing?
bed packing is something where you travel around the world, but you beg your way around the world, and it's
Oh,
really
my God.
yeah, and it's real like gross because it's like firstly
Yeah.
there are actual people who need to beg in order to survive, and you're sort of just taking some of their options away because you're just begging. Oh no, but I just want to live like they do to really experience. Like, yeah, but you're not, are you? Because you can just
Maybe
go to
this is what we should send the royals to do, beg packing for a year. It's really interesting because I do think as well at the moment, it's a fascinating thing that everyone's like, well, you can't, it's bloody, we've become Englandistan and all that. Whereas actually, like, Christianity is 46.2% of the population. Atheists, no religion is 37. Islam is 6.5%.
Really?
Yep.
So-
Judaism is 0.5, same as Buddhism. Sikhism's 0.9. So it's very tiny, really. It's about 10% that's a religion that isn't Christianity or atheist.
I don't know why I thought that Christianity would not be the top. I thought atheists might now be the top. I thought it'd be.
It's really closing the gap. There's 9% between it, but I think maybe there's a lot of people out there who are atheists because they haven't found the right one. Because we're not offered the option, are we? You're born and that's your religion. Like, oh, your parents are this, so you're this. Very few people convert. Whereas maybe if we get given a smorgasbord as a kid, we'll be like, that's the one for me. And then you've got something in your life that, I think. People are looking for a higher thing in their lives now, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. And maybe that's also, again, relating to the kids. So maybe rather than communal wine, we need Prime energy drink.
I think that would help.
And get all that sort of...
If Jesus blood flavoured Prime would be a really good idea, just to get those Gen Alphas in.
What, has anyone done a red wine called Jesus Blood? Surely.
Surely there is one out there. There has to be.
Yeah. If not, that's a very good strategy. I mean, I'm not going to make it, but someone should.
Yeah, somewhat. You probably know more people with vineyards than me. So if you know anyone,
I know
please
one
do.
person with a vineyard.
Yeah, okay, well, there we go. Yeah, that is more than me.
There you go.
Well, these are 3 very interesting policies to unite and improve the country, Prime Minister. I think they are incredibly good. I think they're going to be popular. I can't really see any issues. Apart from with the baby voices, there is going to be some sort of baby voice Gestapo that show up to people's doors if they're doing it in their houses in secret. We'll get to that issue when we come to it. But modernising the royal family, I think, is definitely good, and I really like this religion one as well. If anything, it'd just be good fun, a bit of variety. If anyone wants to see any more of your manifesto points, where can they find you, and where can they find out about where you're going to be on tour?
Well, I'm on all major social media sites. At Honourable Tom.
Lovely.
And then honourabletom.com is my website. I'm on tour in September, going across the UK and Ireland. I'm very excited. Thank you.
I have to say as well, I have known Tom a very long time. I've gigged with him loads. He's absolutely one of my favourite stand-ups to watch. Like, he's brilliant. If you go to one tour this year that isn't mine, go to Tom's.
You can definitely go to both, though. Definitely go to
you
both.
can. With affordable.
You
know what? Skip Jimmy Carr, go to both of us. It'll be cheaper.
Exactly. Jimmy Carr needs to do like a year back on the open mic circuit, like the royal family. That's what needs to happen. It should be across all professions.
Lovely. Prime Minister, thank you very much.
Thank you.
You've been listening to I Am Prime Minister, hosted by me, Matt Richardson, and produced by Matt Needer. If you've enjoyed the show, forward it to a friend, leave us a 5-star rating or review, or write to your MP. I Am Prime Minister is a Wild Ambitions production.